Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chain. Can't control me. I got the power.
This is the Indie Kid. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Thanks for joining me, guys. I want to break down Tennessee and Memphis. The big in-state rivalry goes down this Saturday, 12 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN and from Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. So if you're in that central time zone, that'll be 11 a.m. local time for you. But just want to break down this rivalry, talk about some interesting points that I found in it and where I feel Tennessee can benefit, where Tennessee may have an advantage at in this game. But before I get into that, as always, guys, hit that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe as well. Hit over 10,000 subscribers, and we're continuing to grow. We appreciate you guys and your generosity. Thank you guys for tuning in. But, let's continue to build this basketball brand. Good chance this weekend with Tennessee and Memphis. And this is a big one. We've talked about it for a couple of weeks. Coming in, Memphis was on a 4-game skid. Now they've gotten, apparently from what I'm reading, I was reading in the commercial appeal, and Memphis had a players-only meeting this week. On the surface, it appeared to help as they come out and handle Alabama. Seemed they were in control of that game most of the time this week. But how is that going to carry over to Tennessee? Of course, that's a rivalry. Tensions are going to be high. I don't think there's much love lost between Hardaway and Barnes. They kind of downplay it now, but I still think there's that. I still don't think there's a lot of love lost between the two. But just looking at the history of this rivalry, first of all. So the history of it, Tennessee does have that advantage, 15-12. Memphis did win the last meeting, which was last year in Knoxville, 51-47. 2 years ago, that's where the tempers blew up, 102-92 win for Tennessee in Memphis. That's when Penny got his feelings hurt, talked about balled up fists. There were some hurt feelings then. Those two teams actually had not played since 2013 prior to that. And for the biggest part of from 2006 to 2013, for the most part, they played every year. They didn't play in 2010. Well, no, they did. They played in that 09-10 season because they played on New Year's Eve. They didn't play in – well, they played December 6, 2006, and then they played February 23rd, 2008. So basically, they played every season from 2006 to 2013. Did not play again until 2018, and the series is actually not – they don't have anything imminent on it after this game. I think something will work out. I was reading another article in the appeal about how Memphis's AD definitely wants to play Tennessee, and they're wanting to actually have it in football too. I want to see it. I mean, I'll be honest, there's some years, especially the Jeremy Pruitt years, I don't know Tennessee would have hung with Memphis. We can say what we want about it. Memphis had a high-powered offense then. I don't know Tennessee could have hung with them, but that's another point here and there. But I would like to see that game played on an every-year basis as well. It's a good in-state rivalry, no matter what the sport is. I feel it will be intense in football as well as it is basketball. But again, Tennessee leads that series 15-12. The first game was in December 28th of 1969. That's the first time they had played each other. So this will be the 28th edition of that rivalry, and excited to see it in Nashville this week. as well. So I was kind of looking as well, kind of looking where Tennessee. I know, Memphis has talent. They're bringing in talent. There's no doubt about that. Looking at the statistics, there's a lot of categories Tennessee's pretty. Honestly, there's not. It surprised me looking at like rebound and margin, 3-point percentages. Tennessee has better numbers than Memphis in those categories, but a lot of these categories are they're very close. The one category that stood out to me, and I think Tennessee will have an advantage here, assist to turnover ratio. Tennessee ranks 4th in the nation. Memphis ranks 289th nationally. Tennessee running Kennedy Chandler, Sakai Ziegler. You could even go Vescovy, depending on anybody else, kind of rotates in and out. That's somewhere I think Tennessee can expose Memphis and have an advantage on them. Do they push that pace? What game plan do they come in to this game with? Where can they really, it appears, where can they break Memphis down with their point guards? Looking at Memphis's roster, just kind of looking at, you have DeAndre Williams, you have Emily Bates. DeAndre Williams is the leading scorer at 11.2 points per game, right at 5 rebounds. Emily Bates, 10.8 points per game. Jalen Duran, 10.8 points and 7.6 rebounds per game. And then a couple other guys at 8.4, 8.3. And I was reading as well, it said Memphis is due to get a couple other players back this weekend. And this will be the first time they've been at full strength in a month. Tennessee's going to have to show up play. The one thing that concerns me is it's a neutral floor. 2 out of the 3 games Tennessee's played on a neutral floor this year, they have absolutely crapped the bed. What team shows up this Saturday? What game plan do they go with? I don't think Tennessee will have any kind of advantage on the inside. Again, I was kind of surprised at the rebound margin. Tennessee is better in that category. Looked at offensive rebounds per game. Memphis is just slightly better on that. And I felt that was somewhere they really struggled against Texas Tech. So how's Tennessee going to match up with their inside game? Do they try to go eye for eye with them? Or do they try to kind of go like they did with Tech and kind of go to a smaller lineup? I think if they're going to go to that smaller lineup, though, you've got to have a plan B. You've got to have a plan C. It can't just be gun, and hope for the best. I think Memphis will have that advantage on the inside. But can Fulkerson, what kind of game does he play? Which Olivier Kamwa is going to show up? In most of the big games, he's not shown up. He played a pretty good game against North Carolina, against Villanova, against Texas Tech. He was almost non-existent in those games. Brandon Huntley Hatfield, he's taken steps these last couple of games since Texas Tech. He took steps against Greensboro. He took steps against USC Upstate as well. Kamwa had a good game against Upstate. This is a different caliber of opponent, though. Tennessee needs those 2 guys to step up. They need to be multidimensional. They can't. If they're going to rely upon the 3, they better be hitting the 3. And Tennessee, they have hit more 3s. They have a better percentage of Memphis. Where Tennessee, one thing, they rank, and I don't know their exact rank in the country, but they're one of the lower teams in getting to the free throw line. They just don't do enough to create getting to the free throw line. Got to do that this week. Got to get to the free throw line. And again, I say you got to use these point guards to break Memphis down. Think they can cause some trouble with Memphis with their point guards. Again, I think Memphis has a size advantage. I think they're going to have a better inside presence. But what plan does Rick Barnes come up with? It's kind of an open-ended question, but I don't know what he goes with. It tends to seem they to be a team that's reliant upon the 3 heavily. Can they mix it up? Can this be like a North Carolina game where they had a nice mix? Or are they going to is Memphis going to force them to be one-dimensional? A lot of questions, a lot of intensity in this game. I feel this is a big, big game for Tennessee. And in the grand scheme of things, don't get me wrong, if they lose this one, it's not the end of the world. But I feel for perception, I feel as far as state pride, I feel as far as this rivalry goes, I would almost go as far as say this is must win for Tennessee. And again, that doesn't mean because if they do lose, oh, Rick Barnes needs to go or this program's that. No, nothing like that. I just think for perception, for this rivalry, for bragging rights, you win the series, you win the rubber match 2-1 in this 3-game series that they've had the last, including this year, 3 years. That's going to be big for you. You need it for recruiting. You need it for your state perception. And it is Nashville. Tennessee needs that presence in Nashville. What better way to get that presence than to beat your in-state rivals on the other side in Memphis? We'll be live with you right after the game Saturday. Should be right around 2 o'clock. We'll cover it. We'll break it down. We'll see how things go. Hopefully it's a positive result for Tennessee. I'm excited to see how they respond. They've had 2 games, good placement on these games, kind of get confidence back. They've really rolled in these games now. Now it gets real, guys. Memphis, Arizona, Alabama. It is about to get real. Your cupcakes are over with for the year. My name's the Indy Kid. This is the Talkin' VAWLS Network. Thank you for tuning in again. I'll be live Saturday right after the game, or we'll be live. Be on the lookout. Any videos tomorrow. This one will drop. This is Thursday night. I'm recording it. This video is going to drop on Friday, so I'll be with you tomorrow. And be on the lookout for any videos. Boogie may drop as well. And hats off to him for his coverage of football this week. He has knocked it out of the water on that. And thank you guys for tuning in last night with us. Or thank you for your generosity. You guys rule. Again, my name's Indy Kids. This is Talkin' VAWLS Network. Have a good Friday, guys. Have a good weekend. I'll see you Saturday. Go Big Orange.
The songs howl like we poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit falls on broken past this inundated orb that we draw home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.